Before you drift off tonight, I want to tell you a story about a woman named Emily Parker. She could be anyone, a mother, a daughter, a dreamer, just like you. And for a long time, Emily's nights were not peaceful. She would lie awake beside her sleeping dog, Charlie, staring at the ceiling, wondering, why does everything feel so heavy? Her husband had passed 3 years ago. Her job felt meaningless, and her adopted son, Ethan, had stopped speaking much at all. Bills stacked up. The fridge was half empty. Her heart, completely empty. But that night, the night you're about to hear, was the night everything began to change. It was late November. Cold rain tapped the window of their small house in Vermont. Emily sat on the couch, scrolling YouTube with red eyes and a mug of chamomile tea gone cold. She typed, almost without thinking, how to stop feeling hopeless. The first video that appeared was titled, "The Secret, Law of Attraction Explained." She clicked it. Then halfway through, she sighed, muttering, "Yeah, right. Think positive, get rich." If only life worked like that, she turned it off and went to bed. But sleep didn't come. Instead, a thought kept echoing. What if it could work? If I just tried? The next morning, she found an old copy of The Secret her sister had mailed years ago, still sealed in plastic. She opened it. Page 1 read, "Your thoughts become things." Emily laughed under her breath. Then my life must be built entirely from worry. But something inside her, small, stubborn, whispered, maybe it's time to change the story. That evening she decided to test it. She wrote on a piece of paper, "I am grateful for peace and small blessings." She placed it under her pillow. Ethan peeked in. "Mom, what are you doing?" She smiled weakly. "Just trying something new." He shrugged and went back to his video game. The next morning, the sky was pale pink. Emily brewed coffee and noticed Charlie sitting by the window, tail wagging, staring at the sunrise. Something about that light felt different, warmer, softer. For the first time in months, she smiled, without reason. That tiny spark of peace made her try again that night, and again the next. By the third day, she began visualizing. She closed her eyes and imagined her life like a movie. Her son laughing again, her home filled with light, and herself, calm, whole, free. But the universe never gives miracles without tests. 2 weeks later, her car broke down on the way to work. Her boss texted, "We're downsizing." Sorry, Emily sat in that old Honda on the roadside, hands shaking, thinking, so much for manifesting. She cried the whole drive home. That night, she tore up her gratitude list and threw it in the trash. Ethan watched quietly from the hallway, holding Charlie's leash. "Mom," he said softly, "you always tell me quitting doesn't help." She looked at him, that little boy who'd already lost so much, and something inside her broke open. She pulled him close. "You're right. Maybe I just need to believe longer than the storm lasts." And in that moment, she decided to start over, again. The next morning, on her walk with Charlie, she noticed the numbers 444 on a passing truck. She'd seen angel numbers mentioned in The Secret, but never paid attention. That night, she Googled 444 meaning. The answer read, "You are protected by your angels." Keep the faith. Something in her chest fluttered. Could it be true? She whispered, "If this is real, show me again." The next day, at 4:44 p.m., Ethan came running from school, beaming. He held out a drawing, a big, bright sun 2 stick figure people, and a little brown dog. Across the top, he'd written, "Me plus Mom plus Charlie is equal to safe." Tears blurred her eyes. There it was, her sign. From then on, Emily started treating her thoughts like prayers. When she paid bills, she whispered, "Thank you for providing." When she made dinner, "Thank you for this food." When she tucked Ethan in, "Thank you for love that stays." She wrote down dreams she didn't yet believe she could have. A new job where she felt valued, a home near the lake, a sense of freedom that money couldn't buy. Weeks passed. She noticed that the more she focused on gratitude, the more small coincidences appeared. One day, her old boss called. Not with a job offer, but with a freelance opportunity that paid twice her salary. Then a letter arrived, an inheritance check from her late grandmother, just enough to clear her debts. And every night, before sleep, she'd whisper, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Winter melted into spring. One evening, after dinner, Ethan asked, "Mom, remember when we almost lost the house?" She nodded gently. "Do you think the angels fixed it?" She smiled. "Maybe they helped me remember how powerful we already were." That night, as she lay in bed, rain tapping softly on the roof, she felt her body sink deeper than ever before. In that half-dream state, she saw herself walking through a glowing field of lavender. The numbers 111 floated above the path. She reached out and the light touched her heart. A voice whispered, "Everything you ask for is on its way. You've stopped chasing. Now you're allowing." And just before dawn, she woke to find a message from an old friend she hadn't spoken to in years. "Emily, I saw your art online. Would you consider doing illustrations for my publishing company?" Her heart raced. It was the dream job she'd visualized months ago, almost exactly. Today, Emily lives by the lake she once drew in her notebook. Charlie still barks at ducks. Ethan paints with her in the studio, by the window. Sometimes they talk about that hard winter, how it felt endless, and how everything changed the moment she believed. Her walls now hold frames of her favorite angel numbers: 111, 222, 333, 444, 555. Each one a chapter of her transformation. Now, as you listen, imagine your own life inside Emily's story. What if everything that's happened to you has been preparing you to believe again? Close your eyes. Feel your breath soften. Say quietly to yourself, "I am ready to receive. I trust the timing. I release resistance. I am safe to dream again." Let those words sink deeper than thought, into your cells, into your sleep. Because tonight, like Emily, you're rewriting your story too. I am healing. I am guided. I am loved. I am worthy of miracles. I am safe to rest.